how did that feel, being the heavyweight champion of the world?
Every fight I've took, I've knew the risk. Someone's punching us in the head. I cannot blame anybody for my decisions, you know. I enjoyed every minute I've done it. But I got in the stitch room, I think I got 42 stitches in my face. I think my feeling after that fight was, ow.
Was it worth it, Mick?
Way
Your
high.
career in fighting?
100%. That's what, let me just go back out and you go, you cannot go. Just wanted to be better. Just want to be better than what I could be. You ever punched a brick wall in temper? It's a burning vibration in your hand. Every time Arnold punched me, my face felt like that. I've been threatened to be shot, I've been slashed, I've been way high. I've had a bottle bounced off me head, everything.
Did you once get into a bank or a mask on?
I actually thought I died in the ring, so it's a little bit tearful there, like.
Is there anyone in particular who you want to get your hands on? Today we are joined by Mick Terrill. How you doing, mate?
I'm not too bad, mate. How's you?
I'm good, mate. I know I've been trying to get you on here for absolutely ages, but you're a local lad and I thought it'd only make for a good conversation. Obviously, you were the BKFC world champion, world heavyweight champion, I must say. First and foremost, how did that feel, being the heavyweight champion of the world?
I mean, I always say, like, it never bothers us, you know. It's just I take every day as it comes, but, you know, when you lose it, I think when you lose it, it affects you more than when you have it. Because when I had it, it was normal. It was just, for me, it was another day, and I like, oh, I've won that, but then everyone's shouting you in the street and stuff, and then when you lose it, you got it.
Did you notice an instant change when you'd won that? Like when people are, you know, shouting your name out and all that? Like, did you feel like your profile had just shot up?
No, because like I've been fighting for like 20 years now, so like everyone where I live already knows us. But it was crazy, you know, like I've just been in Italy there, and all that. We got it at a villa, and we were out in the sticks. I mean, my pa got this massive 20-bed villa, so we're in there in Italy. And we arrived in Florence at, I think it was 11:10, and the car hire company shut at 11. So I had to get a taxi to the villa, but we're that far in the sticks, it was in a vineyard. So it was like a mile walk down the drive, and then we're coming to the bottom of the drive, and we're trying to get signal for a taxi. And an Italian fella recognised us, because I'd been there the year before. And he gave a lift at the airport. So it's crazy stuff like that. You go abroad and people, I mean, my lasses, doesn't matter where we go, someone says, oh, hello, Mick, you all right? And it could be anywhere. To
be fair, though, I think you've got that look. Like, even if you weren't a fighter, you've got a face that you'd remember.
Ugly.
What did you have a 20-bed villa for, like? Was it only the 2 years?
I've got no idea. There was only the 2, so he's typed in, we're only there for 3 days, and I think he's typed in minimum 2-bed villa. And it was expensive as well, you know. So we got there, and it was, you could tell, you know, there was a metal gate that opened, and it was like a mile driveway, you know, so it gets right at the top. And she takes it, and it was like an old mansion. I tell you what it looked a bit like. I seen Godfather 2. Uh-huh. You know, when he kills the old Don in Sicily. It was like that sort of building. So we get in there, and obviously it's 11 o'clock at night, and the little old Italian woman's letting me in. And I thought it almost be like a bed sit or something. But it wasn't. It was one villa we had on the top floor. There was a full-size snooker table, had an Olympic pool outside. And
shut up, man.
Well, so it was a surprise. Now we're like, wow, what's going on here?
Has your financial position changed, Mick, due to fighting? Like, I know obviously there's prize money and stuff, but what I do know is I've had a lot of fighters on here. I've had a lot of like professional athletes and stuff like that, and I know that the money's only decent at the top. But how good is it at the top of the BKFC? You're not going to share it.
I mean, I've always done all right with money, and I've got a good trade. Mm-hmm. I've got houses. I've always had property. So I've always worked hard, you know, outside of fighting. It's only been the last couple of years, you know, where it's been good.
Aye, that's fair. You're an electrician, aren't you?
Yeah.
Aye. You still do it now?
Well, I wired my home gym. But I broke my home, didn't it?
Shut up, man.
Yeah, I fell off the ladder, didn't I? 5 metres.
I
was fucking covered.
So, where are you actually from, Mick?
Me, I grew up, I was born in a place called Meadowell. And then we moved out just before the riots, I think. I grew up in a place called Shenmue. And then I met my wife, and that was it. Dragged back to Shields.
And have you always been fighting and all?
Nah.
No.
I swear, man, when I was at high school, I was 5'4". I was about 15 or 16. I was a quiet kid. Didn't bother anyone. I was probably cheeky. I liked having a laugh. And then I shot up. I just got big. And then there was always people in LA trying to take the piss or sort of, I never got picked on, but like they would try to rib you, and then you think, no, fuck you, you'll get it.
So when was your first experience Scotland then?
Playing football. I played football, and I enjoyed the tackle. I was very good at tackling, and I actually played round here.
Good up, man.
I was in the Blythe Wandsworth Beck League, and anyways, playing football, I enjoyed the tackle. I was wiring my pal's house, who was a boxer. He had a property 3 doors up from mine, so I was wiring it for him. And I was just asking questions about boxing. He went, come along, I'll take you along. I was up Barry Norman's, Sore Tonical and Baker. And he took us up there, and I started off Thai boxing. That's how I started.
What were you being taller?
That's what he says, we've been told that'd be good, but I'm glad I've done it, 'cause especially with Barry's gym as well. It was a tough gym, There was, I don't want to say it was like, if you were soft, you might as well go home, but because Barry killed at everyone, but if you want to spawn that gym, you were spawned to fight. And when I only started off to keep fit, really, I was doing twice a week, and then as I started fighting, I went up to 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week, and then twice a day, and so you've got to find the time for it, so it's a lot of sacrifices in it. But in that gym, you would be sparring, I would say, 4 times a week. Maybe you do about 10 rounds a session, so you're doing 40 rounds a week, and you come out, you couldn't walk every session. You were sometimes, even as I got better as well, because everyone was good in there, you were limping out the gym. And sometimes you'd sit in your car and you would nearly have a little cry at yourself, because your legs are dead and you'd be kneed in the face, and it was just, I think it just toughened you up.
So did you only play football when you were playing for that tackle? Were you sent off?
I've been sent off a couple of times, but it's, no, I was I just enjoyed football. I think as you grow up, when I was little, my dad wanted us to play rugby.
Right.
Because he says football was for girls.
Right.
Which, looking back, I think he's right. If you watch these Premier League footballers, they're fucking flopping all over the shop, aren't they? You know what I mean? They're getting a 9.9 for these dives. But I played rugby at Percy Park and North Shields till I was about 11, 12. And then I was a goalkeeper, and I got dropped because I was too small.
Shut up, man.
And then obviously I played football right up. I was 23, and then started Thai boxing.
Did you have a knack for Thai boxing, Mick? Did you know you were half decent?
No, nobody is. I swear to God, when people say, I want to go to the gym, but I'm nervous. I swear to God, 99.9% of people who first walk in the gym are shit. And I was one of them. You know what I mean? You've just got to, I think once you realise you're not made of glass, you go back and it's, if someone's giving you a bit of a pasting, you're like, I'll get you. You know what I mean? It's
Did you always have that in you though? Because I know that there's some people who are not built they're not wired like that. Do you know what I mean? They can go and they can obviously improve the skills and that in the gym, but they didn't really have that, I'll get you.
Maybe it's not. It's, I would hate for someone to have one over on us,
Aye.
I think that's what it is. He's got one over on me. I'll get him one day. And it might be tomorrow, it might be next year, it might be 5 years, but I'll definitely get there. You know what I mean? I would hate someone to think they had one over on us.
What was your mum and dad like?
Sound?
Were they fighters and all? Were your dad?
No, I mean, my dad, he's flighty now. He's only 5'9", but he could still kick over my head. I mean, he's got cancer at the minute, but he's... Sorry
to hear that, mate.
No, that's all right. But even, till I was about 20, he was still trying to kick us in the head and that, He's just rad, my dad, he's funny, But my ma can have a gun, she was quite tough for a woman, you know what I mean?
What did they do,
My dad was a plater, and my mum got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis very young.
Right.
So, I don't know if you've ever seen anyone...
My mum's got it, mate.
Aye, so the sort of thing, but they done well with me, that I thought I had a normal upbringing, really.
Were you skint?
So, everyone's skint in the 80s, weren't they? You know, it is, you keep hearing that these days, there's different divides about different cultures, different colours, and I think, fucking hell, back in the 80s, every skint.
That's
we're all skint together.
But, is that, because I know you mentioned, you're good with money and stuff, and obviously you've clearly done very well for yourself, mate, and I can only credit that from someone from the North East like myself to go and say you smash it. It's fucking mint, mate. I love out like that. And the fact that you've always been good with money and stuff and grafted, and you've got your property business and all that type of stuff, and now your gym again, where did that come from? Is that because you were skint? You always want to try and squirrel money away and never be skint again? You alright, people? Hope you're enjoying the episode so far. Here's a random one for you. Most of you who are actually watching this episode don't actually subscribe to it, so just do us a favour, will you? Can you click the like button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss another episode, hit subscribe, all that good stuff, because we go up and down the country to try and bring you the best show possible. We're not messing around here, so please just show some love, will you?
100%. You know, when you grow up poor, and like I say, I grew up in a council estate, so I don't know where you grew up, but on our council estate, there was a corner shop. And all the knackers hung around the corner shop, and they were all drinking the whatever thing, they were smoking. And I don't know, I always thought I'd be something. You know, as a kid, I thought I was always athletic, I always wanted to do something. I was just never big enough to do it. So I've never tried a cigarette in my life, I've never done a drug in my life, I barely drink. And everything I've done was, you know, like I just wanted to be better. Just want to be better than what I could be. Do
you reckon that's because you saw what was going on around you and you didn't want to be that way? You know what I mean? Because it can go one or two ways, can't it? You can end up like that.
100%. I'd say. Like, I come from a home, my mum and dad drank. My brothers are drinkers. And I just thought, I don't want that. You know what I mean? So, like, I think I was lucky as well. I've got a good wife. You know, if you've got a good wife, it's like she keeps you humble. And I think when I had kids early, I was 20 when I first had my son. Yeah. And I've got three sons. I'm a granddad now. But I think when you've got that family base, you've got to work. I mean, I would hate for my kids to not eat, you know what I mean? So if it was a case of my kids starve, I'll work an extra few hours. I'll do a few hours, you know? So, I mean, I got to one point I was working like 40 hours a week during the week, and then I would work 40 hours a week on the night on the door, or when I was an electrician working away, sometimes I was booking in 100 hours a week.
Mental.
You just got to... money's a funny thing, you know. You need it. Yeah. People say it doesn't make you happy, but I've been skinty now, and when I've got a few quid, I'm much happier.
That's the thing. I think that, unfortunately, I think a lot of people who say money doesn't make you happy probably didn't have money. I think there's a lot of that because, again, it's like, yes, it might not give you what you'd expect when you've made a few quid, but at the same time, if you're in a shit scenario, money can get you out of a lot of bad situations. Like, that's the thing, innit?
I mean, I'm not mega rich, but if I want something, I'll go and buy it. You know what I mean? I'm comfortable.
Then I like, mate, you're heavyweight champion from BKFC. You're doing alright for yourself. So when did you have your grandson?
Granddaughter.
Granddaughter, sorry.
She'll be 1 in July.
So were you the champion of the world when you had when you were a granddaughter?
Aye.
Imagine your granddaughter being heavyweight champion. That's mint. You know, I know I'm keep going on about it, but when you won that, did you feel the sense of pride? Obviously, you've been fighting for years. To get that title, was it like was it an ego boost? Was it like, I am Canny Andy now? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I swear to you, as soon as I won that fight, my opponent was Arnold Adams. I got in the stitch room. I think I got 42 stitches in my face. I think my feeling after that fight was, ow. You know what I mean? It fucking hurt. I mean, the stitches hurt you now. And you know you're going to get them. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what. For every fight I've had a little nick. And I tell you, the worst stitches I had across my nose. It hurts more in your eyes, you know, but like, I'm stitched right across that eyebrow. But I won that title, and it's hard to describe it. You ever punched a brick wall in temper? Now, you've been a temper, and you get that, like, it's a burning vibration in your hand. Every time Arnold punched me, my face felt like that. And I remember I come back, and it was the third round. I come out of the third round. I'm looking at my corner, and my eye was about that wide, you know, with the cut. And I'm giving him my best puppy dog eyes, you know, to say, like, how well, lads. What the state of his. But my corner team just went, Mick, he's fucked, you know. Get yourself back out. So it's well, let me just go back out, and you kind of go.
How do you feel when you're fighting?
Nothing. Nothing. And, like, I don't care who you... I swear to God, you know, like, you could be me ma, you know, if I'm getting paid enough money and you stand that ring, I don't care who you are. I don't hear any background, I don't hear any of the crowd, I don't... I mind you saying that, I did on the last one. But, you know, when you're walking into the fight, I don't know, you just go numb. You know what I mean? It's... I tell you what I do, I grind my teeth just before I fight. I put a hole in my gum shield. I grind because I don't know, I must be getting a little bit angry.
Do you feel scared?
It's funny, you know, before you fight in the changing room, usually I try to deal with it beforehand, you know. About a week before I start dealing with it. I tell you which one really got us was the Lorenzo fight. And what it is, I've met Lorenzo a couple of times before I fought him. I thought he's 6 foot. He's got big arms, you know, he's muscly, looks the part. And then he just went to LA to fight him. And I didn't know, he looked taller. And like he had a jerry curl. Mm-hmm. So his head looked about that wide as well. And I swear to God, this is a top tip of any fighters out there fighting. Grow a beard and grow your hair thick. If your head looks big, you look big.
Aye.
So I remember I was looking at him, I think, fucking hell, he looks big, him. And I kept like looking at his shoes, you know, and I think he had lifts in, you know, in his shoes.
Right.
But I'm looking at his shoes to see, like, because you're trying to gauge the reach. Mm-hmm. That's all you're doing. I'm thinking, he looks more 6'1", 6'2". He's got an extra 2 inches of reach. So you're thinking, I want that to be a little bit further back, because if he leans in, he's going to get us. And I'm looking at him, and I remember it was about 2 days before the fight, and normally I like to just walk around where I'm at, you know, shopping and that. And I says, Danny, I'm going back to the hotel room. And he went, what for? I says, I need to go and calm my nerves. And it's the first time that's ever happened. And I sat there and I thought, it was Knucklemania 4. It was a massive show in LA. Lots of people's going to be there watching. And I should beat him, he's littler, but he looks massive. And I had to just go and gather my thoughts. And like, what I done is I sat in the bed, I went through a couple of his fights, and I'm looking at what he does and how he sets up his shots. And I just sat there and I thought, well, he drops his shoulder to do that, and he's doing this. And I thought, he probably catches there. I'm probably going to get a cut across here when he comes in with his big right hand. If he hits us with a big right hand, I might have to try and roll to get away from that, and I might get a clip on the top of the head. And then once I sat there, I thought, well, that's what I'm going to get hit with. I'll be all right with that. And I think I sort of calmed myself down then.
You'd think if someone had a big head, it'd be easy to hit them, though. You know what I mean? Like, I know they look bigger, but you'd think it's a bigger target, isn't it?
Aye, but it's the chin you're looking for, isn't it?
Aye, true. Could
have a big, massive forehead and neat chin. But it's a funny, man, story that it was before the day before the fight, you know, you get weighed in the morning, and then that's private. You get weighed in the morning, and then you do like a ceremonial weigh-in. So it's on the stage, on the TV, everyone's watching. So we're in the backstage, and you're queuing up, and it's like the first fight, them two, second fight, third fight, fourth fight. So I think I was second last fight. So Ben Rothwell's come in front of us, and then he was fighting Todd Duffy, and then Lorenzo's coming. He's got a Superman cape on.
Shut up, man.
So I'm looking at him. He's come a bit late, and everyone's just staring forward because every fight I get to them nerves, you know. So you don't want to look at your opponent, you know, the day before the fight. So we all sort of stood there. I remember I just turned and looked at him and I went, I want to punch your fucking head all over.
What is it?
He just looked at us and I went, it's on, how it's on. And then he walked up the middle of everyone. So he walked out the way and he started doing press-ups on the against the wall, you know, to pump his arms up because it's going live on the telly. And he's pumping his arms up. And I'm looking at him, I want to fucking do you. You know? And then I remember Mike Perry come walking up the middle. And he getting these custom-made shorts, and they were blue, and they had pink pom-poms on them. And he's walked right up the middle, and I've just stared at them. And as he's come past, I went, oh, Mike, all right? And he went, yeah. I says, what the fuck's them? And he went, what's the matter with me shorts? I went, do you know if I wore them? And he went, I went, people cars gay.
Do you know what, mate? I'd already seen the thumbnail of this. You said that I'd even fight me on my shoes in the ring.
So he's hired a 4-shot combination at me face, you know, like shadowboxing, and I swear they missed us by that. And I didn't move, I didn't blink, and I stood there and I went, you missed? And he just started laughing. He went, you're crazy, man. And then carried on. But it's a funny old setup because everyone's shitting their pants, you know, like, and you go in there and you're trying to keep it together, and you can see people, you know, nervous energy, shaking, twitching, and any fighter that says you go in there, you're lying, you know.
Do you get support off the missus when you're fighting? Because surely she'll not want you to fight, because you know when you sign up to fight me, you could die. You might not come out.
I mean, that last one I got brutally knocked out, you know. She thought I died in the ring, so she's a little bit tearful there, like. I think she was cheering him on, really. You know what I mean? Go and do him. No, but she sold my last one.
Because I watched that fight, mate. It was only in January, wasn't it?
Aye.
And I remember, because obviously I'm always going to support the local lad regardless, and I've seen your previous fights, and I thought, you're going to chin him. Did you predict, I know obviously you're never going to believe you're going to lose, but did you truly think you would have won that fight?
Well, you know, no, because it's at the level now and the game it is, you can get beat at any time, you know. And I was arguing with my manager at the time, Gabriel, and one about sponsors, trying to get more sponsors and stuff. And he was saying, well, when you beat Ben, I went, this isn't an easy fight, you know. I said, this is a hard fight. So I always knew in my mind, it's a hard fight. I went, Ben's not a walkover, he's 315 pounds. You know what I mean? He's a big, big man, you know. I went, at any point, it doesn't matter how skillful you are, if he hits you, you're gone, the point's proven. But I had a game plan that I should have been circling to me right, you know. And he's poked us in the eye. And I remember my eyelid was in the wrong way around. You know, I was inside my eye. And I'm trying to get out, and this one seems the first time I've ever heard any noise. I think it's because everything had stopped. And I was sort of like trying to get my eye the right way. And I heard, boo. And I thought, the fuck, I think I'm faking. You know what I mean? So I remember I sort of went there, and if you watch again, I went, daft cunt, let's go. And I've just flew into a left hook right hand now. Just before that fight, I had a left hook right hand in the changing room. And I made such a crack. And my trainer, and he's going, hide another one of them. That was hard, that. And I think it was just, you know, never ever do this. I fought out of pure temper. You know, like,
you let the emotions,
and anyways, when it turns out there was a big, massive round screen above it, I think it was like a basketball court or maybe it was a hockey court or something. There's a big, massive TV. And they were showing an instant replay of what had happened to us. And they were all going, ooh. They weren't actually booing us at all, you know.
Did you feel embarrassed when that happened to you?
You can't remember now, man.
Aye.
I swear to God.
I mean, even after though, Mick, like, you know, when you come round, because you'll watch. Have you watched it back?
Oh, I've watched it loads of
times. How does it feel like to look at yourself getting done in like that?
Got it.
But is it, what I mean is it like, because again, you know your strength, and it's not discrediting anything you've done. Again, it's anything can go on, as you've said. But when you watch that back, do you think, I could have avoided that? I could have
100%. It was just, that's what I'm saying. It was pure temper. It's my own fault. I should have took more time. I should have, you know, like, I come off my own game plan, you know, and I just lunged at him. I mean, I was that close for my punch landing on him. You know what I mean? Because the left hooks are nothing. It's setting up the step through the right, and he just caught us really well, you know, and got us. But after that fight, because you got to do a pee test, haven't you, after the fight? So you do thing. So like, I'm sort of half awake, and I'm having a pee, and this bloke's watching you having a pee, and I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, he's got his head away, and I was like, what are you doing? He went, oh, it's the pee test. I was like, all right. And anyways, he's still living that way, yo. So I went back to the hotel. It's about 3 a.m. You know, by the time you've seen the doctors, and I'm in my back the future pajamas, and I'm sitting there, lads, how are lads? We're going clubbing.
Did you go out? No.
No, I didn't know where I was, man. I was off my lips.
God.
I just didn't know where I was.
You mentioned earlier on that you were on the doors and all that. How long were you on the doors for?
I was only on the doors with 3 years.
Well, in Newcastle?
Aye.
What was that like?
It's a shit job. I don't know if you've ever done it.
No.
It's a shit. I mean, the summer's fine, you know. But you know, like when I was doing it, I remember one year it was -18, and you wear long johns under your kit, and I forgot my long johns one day. I had to wear my elastic tights. You know, but it's that cold, you know. It's just shit, and it's like I was never into just trying to hit anyone, you know. I had a thing called walk and talk. So usually I was on the outside, I was on the front door. And then we had a couple of doormen who were like a little bit excessive, you know. And I remember Legends, this lad, he was called John, chucks this young lass out. And goes, all right, John, what you done? She's brought her own Coca-Cola in. What? You kind of chuck her out for that, man. Just pay the £5 again and just take the pop off her and send her back in. No. So anyways, I used to just say, like, if it was a lad or a lass, I go, give it 5 minutes, you know, if it's a stupid reason, I go, go in, stay away from him. You know what I mean?
Well, you see it, didn't you? Obviously, like, I've been out over the years and stuff, and you see, like, a lot of people giving chew to bouncers and all that, and there's always some kind of commotion on every bar, probably every night, everywhere in the UK and around the world. How often is it that you get started on as a bouncer?
Every night.
Is it every night? There's
every
always
single night.
So would you say you'd at a fight every night?
No. It's like I say, I barely hit anyone. You know, like I've only ever hit anyone if they've tried to hit me first. But like I say, half the time, the doorman's chuck them out. I mean, if they're just coming in off the street, but if a doorman's chuck them out, and like they're going, your doorman's an arsehole, and also want to be as heard. So I'm going like, he really is. And they're going, aye, where he is. And I'm going, aye, he is. And then, you know, because they're on you for half an hour, 40 minutes, and they're yapping. And I say, I'll just start walking away from the door with them, and they're following because you're listening.
Aye.
They follow you. And then by the time you get to the end of the street, I'll say, I'll tell you what, mate, if you come back next week, I'll let you in for note. Like, and honestly, I'll go, where I come back next week. So half the time they've been chucked out for note.
That's it, innit?
But like some of them, you get them, you're stopping them from coming in. That's where you get the chew.
Well, as I was going to say, has ever been any kind of scenarios where it could have went a bit hairy, like?
For a few, aye. The best one was, like, I didn't even end up, he brought this bodybuilder into fighters. He'd been arguing with his bird. We were working on, it's Few Eyes Only now, but it was Lizard Lounge, and then when I had it was the Den. And he'd been arguing with his bird. I went, how am I making that again? He making the scene. He went, but if I come back next week, can I come in? I went, aye, no worries. So off they went. And anyways, the week later, he come back, but we're closing, we're trying to chuck people out. And he's when you says I come back in. I went, you can't, mate, it's just, we're shut. He went, I've got a pint on there. I went, you cannot do. I says, everyone's getting chucked out. They stopped serving like half an hour again. And he had a right kick off with us. He went, no. He says, you says I come back in. I went, you can. I said, just not tonight, we're shut. So he went, that's it, you're getting done in. I was like, no worries. So off he went. He's brought back, I mean, at the time I was 85 kilos, so I'd have been 13.5 stone.
Aye.
I looked like Freddie Mercury when he was dying at it. And I was that skinny, you know. So off he's went. He's come back and he's put, I mean, this kid had a head about that fat, this big meathead. You didn't let my mate in. I says, all right. I says, he's not coming in now because he started threatening us. And now you're bored now. It's the first person I ever and only person I bored. And now you're bored. He went, no, you said I'll come in. I went, and now we've now brought someone to chinners.
Aye.
I said, so you're bored? And anyways, this kid's trying to have a fight. I went, hold on, mate, me and you're going to have a fight now. And as soon as I said that, his attitude sort of changed. And he's kicked off. I went, I tell you what, mate, if I can't beat you, I'll eat my own underpants. And he went, you got kicks or boxers? I went, I've got boxers, but it doesn't matter, let's go. And then the big meathead just sort of went, no, it's all right. And then that was basically it, you know, like I wasn't an arsehole, you know, on the door.
I think that's the thing, innit? Do you think 99% of the time is you can just talk you out of it?
Aye, because I think a lot of doormen aren't very clever.
Because you do hear stories of like people saying, I'm going to come back and get you shot and all kinds of, I mean, it's happened in Newcastle a few times.
Aye.
So it's like, I just wondered if you'd been on that. Again, you're a nice lad, so it's never, I suppose, if you're not acting a certain way.
I've been threatened to be shot, I've been slashed, I've been, I've had a bottle bounced off my head, everything. You know?
Do you worry about that when they say them things, or do you just know they're pissed?
There's certain people that might get me, you know, that might, but I mean, half of them you don't even know, but you get the odd few that they're known, you know, like they're a known face around the town. I'm going to come back, and then half the time you just got a phone call, you know, when they're sober. You've done this, and he'll say, you never let us do this, and I'll say, because of this. And then you sort of half agree, you know, like, I go, next time you get your cell in, but I'll just say you were working your cell, you know what I mean? You're not coming in.
Oh, I suppose that's it. Did anyone actually follow through with it, though? Like, and actually try and get you the next day or something like that?
No, I mean, people ask you for fights, you know, like I had one where you wanted to have a fight with us on the, it was up...
was it Battle Hill?
Aye, Wall's End, where, aye.
Yeah.
He never turned up.
Aye.
But,
I don't know, I've heard about the story, but I don't know if you said it on another podcast or something. But...
I mean, I chinned him as well, like, I mean, but he proper slide as him. I was busy fighting someone else, and he's come and run across the road and punched us. And so I punched him all the way down the street. But it's funny that, you know, because like, he's done it, you know, and there was a copper there, right? And the copper's pulled us, and he's went, you shouldn't have done that. And I went, mate, he punches across the face, you know, like his sliders. He's went, that's what you get paid for, son. And then it was literally 2 weeks later the Roll Moat thing happened.
Right.
And I shouldn't have said it, because it wasn't the same copper. But you treat them all the same, didn't you? And he's come down, he's went, terrible that one. And I went, that's what you get paid for, mate.
Fucking hell, mate. That's
you know what I mean? But that's what he said to me. One of them said that to me, you know. So.
Did you know Raoul Moore?
Never met him.
No.
No, just, he was going to come to the door once, but I never actually met him.
Is there any stories off the doors that are bullshit that people know about? Do you know what I mean? Because you always hear all the stories about different people getting done in and all that, and there's a lot of, but because you've worked the doors, I know you've only, I'm saying only 3 years, still 3 years, it's every night, and pretty much 3 years, and you always hear like the myths and all that of people doing X, Y, and Z, but you never know like what's true.
You never will, neither, because everyone tells a story in their own light. You know what I mean? So even if you've been chinned, it was because it was 20.
Aye.
You know what I mean? But it's like, I've got any, you know, when I tell a story, it's half the time I'm calling myself.
Aye, that's fair enough. I think that's because obviously you're likeable, mate. You come across like that anyhow, so I can understand why you probably get less chew than most bouncers.
I tell the truth. That's the difference, you know. Like if I get chin, I'll tell you, hi, I got chin, or hi, he knocked us out, or I give him a little slap or something, you know. But I would never exaggerate anything because someone will just say, no, you never.
Because the reason I ask you, Mick, is because obviously you were fighting alongside working on the doors, weren't you? Because you've always, I mean, I've looked at your record and I mean, you were fighting Super Combat and everything when you've done all that type of stuff. So I just wondered if you had got singled out more because you were actually a fighter as well as on the doors. Because people want to have a gun on the doorman anyhow, never mind someone who, you know what I mean? It's like people want to test themselves with you.
I think every tour I went on, I mean, I was lucky I worked for a good company, and I like Terry and Godfrey, and it was a kid called Richie Knox brought us in. And but even that though, Knoxie's bringing us in to get me job. Mexico kid, very good fighter, and Terry's sitting in a little book of chairs, like, so you can fight. And I was like, well, not really, you know, I'm a bit skinny. I'm going to struggle chucking people out. So I've always sort of like put myself down rather than try to big myself up. I remember Knoxie nudging us, he went, what are you doing, man? I'm trying to big you up for a job and you're talking yourself out of it. But it's just, I just try to be as honest as I can, really, you know. It's like, I'll let you know I'll do the job, but if there's a big, massive, huge bloke, I'm probably just going to get flattened, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
At the time, I was only 13 Clem.
Did you find that working the doors help you fighting then?
No, I barely fought in the door.
But it's part of that, isn't it? You didn't even fight.
No, you know what it is, you're sober. So, like, you're sort of half of them are pissed, you know, and like, I'll tell you who's the worry, you know, when you know, it's the students. Because, you know, like, people think students are just going to be like little skinny little, they're not these days, they're big 6'4" rugby players, you know what I mean? And like, there's 4 or 5 of them, you know, so when they come out and they're posh and they, you know, they think they're entitled. And then, a prime example, it's happened 4 or 5 times now. A student comes over, not getting his own way, throws a shot, you clip him. My dad's a lawyer. You know what I mean? That's all you used to ever get off him.
You know, was there many knives in that then?
I got slashed once across my new coat. I got slashed across a new coat, but no, not really.
Why that happened? Literally just barred someone out the club and then he's done.
No, sometimes you just get some psychopath who comes along and, you know, like kicking off. Me little pal Alex Boone, he got stabbed for note. You know what I mean? He didn't even know what was going on. Just someone, you just thinking they might pull out a little blade, and I mean, I was lucky you just skimmed us, you know.
Aye, because I know that. I think I listened on a podcast you've done, mate, and I know you mentioned when you were younger, going out, that you used to stop drinking at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, aye.
Was that the little trick, like, just so you know that you didn't get too pissed and you could always handle yourself?
Aye, because I couldn't really fight, you know what I mean? So you got to, back them days, I wasn't a great fighter. I was game. I couldn't really fight, so you think, 9 o'clock, I'll stop here, just in case it kicks off.
Aye.
But we used to drink in a place called Sylvester's up in Whitley Bay, and it was like, you could see the little teams. It was like the Shields team, and then it was like our Shire team, the Whitley Bay team, and it was like different corners of the. But you know, it's stupid because as you get older, you'll become mates, and anyways, you know, it's just madness.
I know there's a story I want to ask you about. Is it? I don't know if again you can fill us in on this, but did you once go into a bank with a mask on?
I did.
What was the crack with that?
No, it was just like you should. I don't think anybody should be able to go into a bank with a face covering, and I think that should be low, you know. Why spend millions of quids on CCTV and then you're allowed to go in with a face covering? And I just says, well, if because of equality, if someone is allowed, everyone should be allowed.
I get that.
And if someone isn't, nobody should be allowed. So I went in with a mask and I got banned. I lost my bank account, mortgages, the lot. Just
how did you not end up in jail for that? Because it's still like a crime, isn't it? Gone into because surely you gone and robbed the place.
I put money in. I don't know. I didn't, because if I was to take money out, you know, because like they were saying they were scared. Bear in mind, nobody pressed the panic button, and I was very polite when I was in there. And because I put money in, I'm not demanding money with menace. I'm giving them money.
What made you actually? I know the reason, but why did you actually get I'm going to do it? Did you not think I could end up in bother here?
You know what it is? It was an old business partner. It was Derek Halliwell, and he was saying they should be allowed to do it, and I went, no, you shouldn't. As you know, them niqabs.
Aye.
The hijabs are like hijab. You got full face. It's great, and I think that is a requirement, isn't it? But the niqab, it's a cultural. Oh, keep knocking
like a choice thing.
It's a cultural decision, and I says like, You shouldn't be allowed to do that. You know, I'm arguing with Derek. Derek's frightened they're going to ban the English flag. And he's fought for his country. He says, I don't want to have the English because it's now your class as racist or something. And you're putting your own country's
Was he the
flag.
one who was in the Navy?
He was in the army, Derek.
Aye.
And it's happening, you know. You're racist if you're waving an English flag. And you're not, you're just a patriot, you know. But anyways, he said, no, they shouldn't. I went, if I went in the bank with my face covered, I'll get chucked out. And he went, all right. And someone says, I bet you wouldn't do that. I think it might have been a kid called John Morse. Bet you wouldn't do that. And I went, I bet you I will. And then it was just, I bet you I will. And then off I went.
For your future, Mick, where do you want to... Have you got any fights coming up?
I went to see Feldman on the weekend. He's going to get in touch with us next week, so I'm hoping to get some news shortly.
What's it like to be recognised by people like Conor McGregor and that, and all that type of stuff? Again, you're a lad from up here, and now you're on the main stage. You've been the best in the business in your career. So it's like, what's that like? That kind of that notoriety, that popularity. Like, what's that like? Did you notice your socials and that have gone through the roof and stuff?
It's like I say, it's just raj because it's just every day, like a normal day, because Conor's a mega star, you know. He's a normal kid, you know what I mean? You meet Conor, he's just like me and you. You'd have a laugh with him, you'd sit, you want to have a drink, and like, what I will say about him as well, you know, you can't his boy, the guy's picture taken with everyone. You know what I mean? He's just a normal lad who's made it. But like, you meet people like this, and like on the weekend, I was... you might not have heard of this kid, Peter Hurts. He was a kickboxer. No. So I met Peter Hurts. There was Meg Zampiras, Andy Ruiz is there. Joseph Parker was there. And Usyk. Not a fan of Usyk.
Are you not?
I think he should be back home fighting for his country, mate.
Do you?
100%.
Did you not like him? Have you met him?
No, he's a great boxer. And he's there's a kid who O'Toole's Alex Trivanov. He's good pals with him, you know. And I think he's great. He's humble, you know, but... You know, if someone's invading my country, I'm helping. And people say, oh, no, but he's doing, like, he was at the Bare Knuckle on Saturday. It's like a 2,000-3,000 venue. See that? How's he helping Ukraine there? You know what I mean? Imagine you're Ukrainian, your house is blew up, your wife's dead, your kids are starving, and then you manage to find a TV, and you see Usyk in Italy, living it up in a boxing too. You think, oh, mate, you can fight, you should be out with us.
What fighters do you look up to? Not even look up to. Who do you respect to? Would you go, he's someone like him would be a good...
Fighters that I used to watch, you know, like Joe Lewis. You heard of Joe Lewis?
Yeah, right.
Joe Lewis has the best right hand you've ever seen. You know, it's his body rotation that he gets in. I like George Foreman, Muhammad Ali. Calzaghe was great, and I like Prince Nazim. He was... I mean, if you look at the way Nazim moved, he was like...
The actual showman, him though, wasn't he, as well?
Miles ahead of his time, you know, just like these... You know, just the way he done it, his hands were down, everything he done was mint, you know. So, like, when I was like 11, 12, Nazim was in his prime. So I remember trying my best to stop up to watch him fight, or I was full of kip. But then back in the day, there was no, like, reruns. You were hoping your dad's taped it or something, you know, but, like... If you got like a glimpse of him, there's no YouTuber now, you know, you just had to watch it on the telly and on the news after, but he was class. I like Nigel Benn, Eubank.
You watched a fight just gone?
I didn't know it was in Italy.
Oh,
I still haven't seen it yet.
Are you not?
No.
Good fight, I like.
I had a feeling Eubank was going to win, he's bigger, isn't he?
He is, aye.
And I think when you're bigger, if the fight goes in a longer round, you've got more chance.
How much of, when you're fighting, how much is it your heart versus your actual skill?
It's hard to judge, you know, because like you say it's skill, you know, but it becomes a second instinct, you know, like, you know, if you're riding your bike and a curb coming, you would flip the, you know, because you've rode a bike for years, you would just naturally flip the bike up like on the curb. That's the same as fighting. You're fighting, oh, he's going to hit us, I'll get out of the way. It's not it probably is a skill, but it's a reaction. Your reaction time becomes better.
So it's probably more heart, if anything, then. Because your skill's like, it's there, it's got a foundation on it.
That's the thing with this bare knuckle game as well, you know, because people say, what's the difference between bare knuckle and pro boxing? Pro boxing is a long distance run. Bare knuckle it's a sprint. So when you're a pro boxer, you're setting up all your shots, and you could be starting to set up your shots in the first round for back in the 8th round.
Yeah.
Whereas the bare knuckle's a 5-round brawl. The boxing hasn't got to be great enough. You can windmill for 5 rounds. you're going to beat the kid in front of you. You know what I mean? If you've
fair
got the
enough.
fitness to windmill for 5 2-minute rounds, you'll win. Because you ask any boxer, what are you doing with a windmiller? You step off till he gets tired. So you've only got 10 minutes. Some people don't get tired.
Through. That's right.
So the best thing about the bare knuckle is you could have 2 shit fighters have a min fight. You know, because it's exciting for 10 minutes.
That's what I like the influencer stuff for. You know, I like the misfits. I'm a fan of it, mate. I've actually worked on a few of the events, and it's like 2 lads coming out of a pub having a smoke.
Yeah.
And it's meant to watch good entertainment. It is,
It's entertaining.
Did you do one yourself?
The offer was one when I was in Morpia, but
Did that?
I thought it was a lot of money as well.
Who would you have fought? I do not know.
Anyone. I've got a motto on my gym: anyone, anytime, any place.
I've seen your big sign, no soft. Where'd you get that, man? That's class, that.
It was a what's it called? Neon Kings.
That's a mint sign, that. Like,
Aye.
when do you look? Is that something you want to do professionally moving forward, like outside of fighting? Just keep that gym going, get that gym busy.
No, it's just a hobby.
Is it? So you don't look at that as a business?
Oh, it'll be a business, but it's just because I like doing it. Now that I've got a gym, because you think when I retire I'm just going to get old and fat, but I can't now. I've got a gym, so hopefully I'll keep myself. I mean, I'm a little bit podgy at the minute, but I'll keep some of the fat off.
How many more years? What, you're 41 now?
I'll be 42 in June.
42. Well, you're probably on the back end of your fighting days now, aren't you?
100%.
I mean, you're doing well to be scrapping now, to be fair.
I keep saying to everyone, like, what's it like when you're still doing it? At my age, I'd say, imagine you fell down a well and you've climbed back out. That's what it feels like when I wake up every morning.
So what you gonna? I know you're saying you've been in talks and that. Are you planning on having like another 3-fight deal or something? Or
I've always said, if I keep getting knocked out, I'm done. So I've had 1 knockout.
Aye.
If I get knocked out in the next one, I'm probably done.
Is that the plan?
But like I say, I've always lived a clean lifestyle, and I've probably got a bit longer in my life than other people. I train 5 hours a day. Yeah. Don't drink, don't smoke, don't take drugs, barely party.
See, that's the thing, mate. You're right in that respect, because although you're 41, your body might be at 31. Because I know a lot of fighters personally, and I know that they've.
Head doesn't tell us that, like.
No, but you look healthy though. You know what I mean? You do. So it's like when you look at that, you'll think like I know a lot of fighters, and a lot of them do look battered because they're not living like fighters. You know what I mean? They'll turn up, they'll have the scrap, but outside of that, I know their lifestyle's not as what it would be the perfect lifestyle. I suppose that's just life in general, but there's some people who live like athletes, and you'll see it like someone like Josh Kelly, very good mate of mine. He lives like an athlete. Do you know what I mean? There's a different level. I mean, when you watch him in the ring, you can kind of tell there's not something he's just trained for 12 weeks. You can tell, you know what I mean? And then you look at other lads where you think, you've turned up for a scrap. You're good at what you do, but actually, the majority, you can just tell the majority of the year you haven't spent preparing.
Aye.
You know what I mean? So if you haven't been drinking, haven't been smoking, gone on the lash, all that type of stuff, you probably have prolonged your life. Hence why you're fighting at 41-year-old. I
think as well, like I treated it like a job. You know what I mean? It's I get it, like you don't want to train. Nobody wants to train because if I train 3 times a week and I'm just doing weights or I'm just do a little bit of cardio, it's enjoyable. But when you train and you're training till you're sick, you know what I mean? Like I put it on my social media, was it Instagram and Facebook, all the pictures, where I'm collapsed after the training, because my last seems, like I'll come in, hi Tari, for you, just having a little bit fun at the gym, and it's not fun, and you're talking like, especially like with the Lorenzo fight, I've had to stop getting up like so early, because I'll get up at 5, take my dogs, I'll get the gym for 6. But then by the time you fight in America, you've got to stay awake till 6.
That's right. Isn't it?
So I says to Arnie, when I have to stay awake, you stay awake later, get up later, just to help us, get into the routine
for the night fight
in America, So, but usually get up at 5, take my dogs out, get the gym for 6, do strength and conditioning for an hour. As soon as I've done that, I'll do 10 rounds of pads. When I finish my pads, I'll do a 5-kilometre run. And finish my run, I might do some bag work. Go downstairs, I'll do 2 hours of heavy weights. Finish my weights, I might come back and do like a power, clean and jerks and stuff like that, just to get explosive. And I might do some sprints, and then I'll get myself off home,
So are you doing that anywhere, with or without fighting? Are you still living like that anyhow?
Well, I broke my arm, didn't I, 6 weeks ago, and that's what killed us. I haven't trained for 6 weeks really when I broke my arm, but normally I would.
So you're actually living like that,
and I've been building the gym with a broken arm.
How you found building the gym?
Is
this the first one you've had?
No, I've had another gym. I had the Manor gym. Shut that down, the COVID thing.
Aye.
And then we all moved to O'Toole's, which is a mint gym as well, It's owners are good.
Aye. I see people still kicking about with them O'Toole's tops on.
Oh, yeah, it's
are.
mint gym, It's class. It was a great home, But I think it's just something I want of my own,
Do you want your kids to fight?
No.
What's the reason?
Hurt.
I know, but at least they can look up, like stand up for themselves and that. And
You see, there's a double-edged sword on this, and when you can fight, let's say me and you have an argument in the street, and me and you's going to have a fight, and you think Mick will chin me, yeah.
Aye.
You grab a knife or something,
Aye.
Even up the odds. I mean, you might not, but somebody might.
Aye, cool.
You know what I mean? So if your kids can have a fight, I've noticed there's a lot of knife crime going on at the minute, and I think if your laddie can have a fight, and a kid's going to have a fight with a laddie in the street, he's going to stab him.
Because he knows he can fight.
Aye, and
I know what you mean.
And I'm not saying that all boxers go out and fight, but let's say in a pub and an argument occurs, and usually over a bird. You know what I mean?
Aye.
Someone's looking at your bird, how I may pack it in. That's it. He's a boxer, mind. That's it. The glass comes out. Let's smash a glass and hit him.
Because they know they kind of dangerous.
Because they kind of chin him, aye. So that's what happens. Or two or three of them jump on him. You know what I mean?
I've really looked at it like that. But
So it's a double-edged sword. So yeah, you can look after yourself. But when people know you can look after yourself, they don't want to, they're going to use something to...
I get that. See, but then on the flip side, though, you didn't want to be in a scenario where someone's putting it on you and you kind of dying out.
I mean, I think all men should be able to fight, or at least keep fit. You know what I mean? Because you've got a woman, you've got to protect your woman, you've got kids and stuff like that. If you go out and you never go out looking for trouble, but it happens. You're in a bar, something happens. No, mate, behave yourself. Even if you've just got the confidence to say, pack it in. You know what I mean? Half the time you've never got to fight. You've just got to say, that's enough. You should be able to protect your family, I think.
But for your kids, they must have seen you on telly and thought,
all my
you
kids
can't
can
not
box.
be inspired by that.
All my kids can box.
Can they?
But
That's as far as you want them to go, type of thing.
They've all trained. They've always trained. But I remember I says the oldest one, do you not fancy he's a very good footballer? I went, do you not fancy a bit of doing the boxing properly? Because he's 6'5" or something. No, he punches very hard, I went, do you not fancy it? And he went, nah, not my went, I'll not be as good as you. I went, you'll be better, man. I mean, I'll say you'll be better. But then, do you want him to go and do a bare knuckle fight and get his face smashed in? Really, I've done it just so I can give him things, It's like,
was it worth it, Mick?
Why, aye?
Career in fighting?
100%. There was a Facebook post on the other day, I don't know if you've heard the kid, Gary Turner.
Aye.
He was a cage rage, and anyways, puts on, tagged us in it. And he's on about head injuries, because the footballers are, the little fairies, them having a kick off because the head are in the ball. They reckon they might get brain damage. I mean, so fuck, you know what I mean? You're paid 50 grand a week. You know what I mean? You've had the ball, it's your own fault, isn't it? Didn't header it. So now he's put something on, I says, to be fair, I says, I've enjoyed every minute of what I've done. Every fight I've took, I've knew the risk. Someone's punching us in the head. I can't blame anybody for my decisions, I enjoyed every minute I've done it. Like, even the hard training sessions, like you're being sick, you come out, you're like, done that.
So what I mean, so I would say, I understand there's a discipline. I know you can stick up for yourself and all that type of stuff that you need. But is that when you say, I didn't regret a single thing and you did it all again? I'm assuming you did it all again because you can provide for your family and stuff. Is that because there's been a financial reward? Or if you'd never made a single penny out of this, would you still say I'd have done all again?
I swear to you, since the past 3 years I've made money.
Right.
Before that, I've fought for 15 years before that, the past few years, it's probably cost us more money to fight. I've always said to my wife, if Thai boxing ever come through, I would have made a few quid, that was my first sport. I was actually quite good at it. But as it turned out, I ended up making a lot of money doing the bare knuckle. And I would have still done it, it was my hobby. Like if you play football, would you not play against your pals on a Sunday?
I get that, but it's a bit different, though, isn't it, when you're getting punched in the head?
I know, but it's the sport you choose, isn't it?
I get
Do you know what I like about it? It keeps you engaged. When you play football, let's say you're right back, the left wing has taken your team, the left wing has off down the wing, you're right back. You switch off, don't you? You're just sitting back and you're ball watching. You cannot ball watch in this game. If you ball watch, you get knocked out. So I've just started flying, I've taken flying lessons.
Oh, yeah.
I love it because your brain's engaged
the whole time.
And it's like I can come back off flying and fall asleep because my brain's working. Like, I don't sleep.
Do you feel the fear of quitting fighting? Because that day's gonna come, unfortunately. Do you know what I mean? Like, what does that feel like for a bloke, like, to think? Because I work with Mr. Olympia. I work with top level athletes, mate, and I have a lot of conversation with this. Like, when it's all said and done, and you've got naught else, and you've been known for that one thing, when you step away from that, I was gonna fail. I know a lot of them would kill them inside. How do you think it would make you feel?
Well, I think that's why I've got the gym as well. I want to try and get the next kid in. You know what I mean? So it's like, pass on what you know to someone else and say, look, you can do that.
So if it's not going to be your own kids, who's the next one to watch? Is anyone in the area where you think he's going to be?
There's loads of kids to watch, especially up here. Like, I've got a spawn partner, Marcus Lipina. He's very good. He needs a bit self-confidence, you know what I mean? But Travis Dickinson, he's just had to come to bare knuckle. He's done well. There's loads of kids you can watch. Got young Lewis Keane, he's very good. You know, just in this area, you know what I mean?
It's a hotbed up here of talent.
I mean, you've got Tony Cunnam's gym's round the corner. He's got tremendous talent in his gym. There's kids all over. It's just giving them the opportunity to get there. I always say I've been lucky. I just got the opportunity, you know, and like I always say, anyone, anytime, any place. So as soon as someone phones me out and say, I've got a fight for you there, I'll go, when is it? Right, Noble, I'm in.
So, how did the BKFC opportunity come about for you?
A kid called Muzzy, Ian Morris, he used to work for BKB, and I met him years ago, and he come to a video shoot when I had the manager gym, and I had retired from fighting, 2018, I think, or 2017, 2018, I retired, and anyways, I think it was June 2017, I says, 35, I'm done. And anyways, he phoned us when I was 38, do you fancy fighting for BKFC? I went, no, definitely not, no. I mean, I was about 23 stone at the time. I was kind of fat. And he's went, no, mate, I think it'd be a good opportunity. I was like, no, it's not for me. And he went, have a think about it. I might be able to get you fights in America. Puts the phone down. I thought, I've never fought in America. So got me, you know, my brain was working, you know. And my last one, you finished, man, you finished. And I went, no, I haven't, like, so, like, I've got videos, you know, when I first come back, and I, like, got a fucking chin out here. That's just all the way doing the tits hanging down here. And then it took us about a year to lose the weight properly.
If you don't know by now, I run a business called The Content PT. I create content for influencers, PTs, online coaches and fitness brands all around the world. So if you are someone who's in need for sexy content for your social media, or you really want to maintain a competitive edge in your industry, drop me a DM on Instagram. But I suppose it's a good opportunity, because, like, a kid off a council estate, when you ever gone to America? Do you know what I mean? So it's...
Oh, I've been to America a few times.
No, but you know what I mean? When you ever going to do that one hobby there?
Aye.
Without that, it would never have took you there. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's when I look at stuff like that, I think that's where you can go and, like, if I've had to come across jobs and stuff where I've had to go and travel for them, I'm like, mate, I went to Korea a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't want to tap the job. Not that I didn't want to tap it, but I thought, what am I going to Korea for? Like, do you know what I mean?
Like?
It was with My Protein.
So what was Korea like?
Oh, what was it like? Good, mate. South Korea, so it wasn't dodgy, like. But in my head, I thought it's all gonna be the same.
Was the food good?
I didn't like it, mate. So they do these things called Korean barbecues every. So basically, they cook the steak in front of you every night. But what they were doing is, right, they were handing us, like, looked like pots of salt, mate. So I was having me steak and all that, and I was like, oh, I'll have it medium, like, rare and that. And but it comes where honestly, mate, you go kill the cow on your plate. It's that, everything's rare with that. So they're going, just use the little pot of salt. And I go, it's all right, sound. So I was just on the pot of salt. And anyway, I finished the salt, I'm thinking, but this salt is like, it's fine, right? But it's like the saltiest salt you've tasted in your life. Like, everything tastes unbelievable if you put a bit of that on it. So I said to one of the fellas who worked there, I went, hey, mate, I said, where'd you get this salt from? Can you buy it? I would have took it home from me and I would ask. And he went, no, mate, that's MSG. I was like, MSG? I went, that's fucking bad for you, isn't it? That's like,
what is it?
MSG. So, like, you know, and you got the Chinese and that run there, they put MSG in all the food. Everything's MSG here. So it's like, if you got like a Chinese buffet or something, all the food's like Moorish and you eat it and you could have 10 plates. But I don't know if it's you, but now with me, every time I eat the Chinese, I always feel like I'm hungover the next day. Always hungover. That's how I feel. Like, I'm dry mouth and need a drink through the night. So that's the MSG in the food, but that's a killer for you. That if you research MSG, mate, but they have it with everything. MSG just on the side that's why everything tastes good. But other than that, mate, it's a lot of tofu, miso soup, fish curry. I mean, on a morning, mate, they were having mushroom porridge and that. I cannot do that.
I'm not a fish person, like. Fish
Couldn't do it, mate. So I was like, I need a burger. But you know what it is, when I was clamming for a carvery. That's all I wanted. I just wanted beef, tatties. That's all I wanted when I was there. But what the point I was making was, I was never going to get there in my life. So without me job, I would never have been able to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so when you were fighting in America, to see that, mate, it's unbelievable. And it gives people hope, mate, from the Northeast. There's loads of lads who they want to do it and they're like, oh no, but is there much opportunity? Well, look at Mick, look what he's doing, and that's what I love. Do you know what I mean? It's not just about, oh mate, I'm the champion of the world, and that. It's about no, you can actually go and experience the world. You can become a better person out of it.
I think what the best thing is, you know, like what I will say is, you know, because like we've done it, you know, from up here, I can help people get there because I've got the right channels to get them there as well. You know what I mean? Because like it's hard to break into America, and like I only got into the American one because I retired as the BKB world champion,
right?
And then before that, I was the Irish big Benetton champion. So, otherwise, I don't think the Americans would have took any notice. As it happens, I went on, I got COVID, and I got chinned in off Arnold.
Aye, that's right. Aye,
and then took it over a year.
Because you weren't even going to fight, were you? Was that where you were in bed ill, and you were like, no, I'm really bad, I cannot fight.
I've lost, I think I lost two and a bit stone. I was. Nowadays, I didn't believe in it as well. You know, the COVID. I was like, nah, because I worked the full COVID, and like, I never got out. And as soon as I went to Mexico, but I think we all got it from Newcastle before we went, because I phoned a kid called John Graham. He was fighting on the same weekend on D-Day, Darren Tyndall's show, and I went, oh, how's your training going? He went, oh, I've had a pull out. I went, oh, he went, I'm ill. And then everybody from our gym had been ill. Oh. So I think I've took it over there with us, you know. But like, you do a test. We've done the test going over to Mexico. We're fine. Done the test in Mexico. We're not fine. Gets to America. Done the test. We're fine. Gets back home. We're not fine. You know what I mean? So it was like, you couldn't trust it, you know.
When you were fighting, were you that bad? Not like, even in the fight.
No. I swear, man. If you watch the video footage, I was doing 10-shot combos, you know, like, before I got bad. I couldn't hire 1-2 barely, man. I remember, and my wife's crying on the phone, pull out the fight. I says, I cannot, you know, like, I cannot pull out, you know, I'd let everyone down. So, I remember, because I was just shitting through the IV needle as well, you know. I don't know if you got the COVID.
I made eyes horrible.
And because I couldn't smell, you know what I mean? So I remember I was in a taxi once. It was a female Uber driver, and I've obviously shit myself. And I haven't realised. I'm in the front seat, she's looking at us, you know, and the Americans, it's over on that side. And I seen her going like this, you know, looking at us, I was thinking, what's the matter with her? And I got out of the taxi, and honestly, it was running through my leg. Oh, man. I was like, fuck, it was just water. But I was like, fuck, you know what I mean? But anyways, I went in there, phoned my lass, she went, how are you feeling? I went, feel like shit. And then Annie, my trainer, went, mate, you cannot say that, man. You know, to phone her back and reassure her, you know. So I went, all right. And he was phone her literally 2 minutes later, Coleman, all right. I feel much better now. She went, you're lying. But I still thought I dropped him in the second round when I was unwell.
So say after that fight, did you have any other, like, what were you thinking?
I thought it was over.
I was going to say, is that what I thought?
It's like, obviously, I put that post on Facebook as well, you know, who had the COVID. They weren't happy about it. And I never heard anything for a year. They were doing a super show in England. It was in London at the O2, not the O2, the Wembley Arena.
Wembley, aye.
So I was fighting a kid called Shoemaker who just fought for a world title. He was meant to have the hardest punch in the company. They called him the Hillbilly Hammer. Anyways, I knocked him out straight away. So that was it. Back in the good books. But they always say, like, you're only as good as you lost, you know, you lost.
That's the thing, innit? And because obviously that last defeat, and I didn't want to get on about that because, part of his saying is like, it doesn't define you, but then, as what you say, it does, doesn't it? That's the reality of it.
You know, if I watch a fight back and I've won a fight, and I'm not looking for the good bits. I'm looking, I've made a mistake there. Shouldn't have done that. I've stepped that way. Should have stepped this way. So, like, I got knocked out on that one. I got knocked out, you know what I mean? I've got to watch it and say, what have I done wrong? And I lunged forward on his strong hand, which my whole camp, I was going against doing that, you know. So it's just because it was an emotional decision I made, you know. I just lunged in and got caught.
Is there anyone in particular who you want to get your hands on?
No, I mean, at BKFC, honestly, it's like a massive family, you know. Like, everyone gets on. Like, you know, Lorenzo, like, at the time, I thought I wanted to kill Lorenzo, on the fight I had with him. But I swear to God, I heard of a kid called Schmo.
Yes, he does the interviews.
Yeah, he's funny and he's mad. So me doing an interview with Schmoes, me, Lorenzo, Schmoes where you are, doing the interview, and he talks fast, and Lorenzo's saying stuff, and I'm thinking, I'm going to punch your fucking head all over you. You know what I mean? As soon as the camera went down, Lorenzo patted us on the shoulder and he went, great interview, that, Mick. Well, great TV.
So it's all hype, innit?
Well, I was the thing, so we went outside, Lorenzo's had all these posters he'd getting signed. I went, and Lorenzo gives a poster because I want to take one back for the kids as well, And he went, and there was loads of young ones there, loads of kids. He's went, should I give him one, should I not? And his dad pulled him on the shoulder, he went, give them on a poster. And he went, okay, sorry, Dad. And that's what made us like him. Yeah. So I thought, your dad's told you off, and you went, sorry, Dad.
He's a real person.
He's got respect for his dad. So,
Mick, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, mate. I could chat to you for ages, mate. I didn't want to keep this one where you're just talking for hours, because I think it's one of them where I think you can spread yourself too thin and just keep diving into the same subjects. And I've enjoyed it thoroughly, mate. And it's nice. It's been nice to meet you and speak to you, mate.
Spot on, cheers.
Just want to say, obviously, congrats on the gym. When does that open?
As soon as I get my ring. It should be this week, I reckon.
And where's it?
It's at Percy Cricket Club.
Mint. So if anyone's in the local area, go and check them. What's the gym called?
It's called the BKFC gym.
Is it?
Aye.
Class.
So I've had permission as well to call it that. And basically, we're getting the rings specially made. It's round. Mm-hmm. So we've got a round ring instead of a square. And we're just basically trying to get the next kid in to go forward.
So is that what you're doing? It's going to be BKFC based and all the training and stuff, everything?
I mean, obviously we're going to probably have unlicensed boxers and stuff, and maybe a little bit of kickboxing, but really I want everything geared towards, because I know the opportunity's there. You can make money, and I want to get the next kid to make a few quid.
Unbelievable, mate. I wish you all the best of luck in the world with that, mate. And hope it does well, mate. Thank you for coming on, mate.
No worries, cheers.
So you've made it to the end of the episode. Fair play. If you want to watch more episodes like this, click here.